Assalamualaikum everyone. So today we're going to learn a new subject in zoology, which is the survival strategies of hot and cold deserts animals. So when you heard the word desert being mentioned, you will picture that usually it is hot, dry golden sand with camels and very sparse vegetation, right? Okay, this picture is only partly accurate. And we're going to see what does it mean by hot and cold desert. First, the purpose of this study is to examine the adaptations that allow some animals to live in hot and cold deserts. So what does this animal do in order for it to survive in this extreme temperature? Okay, the main characteristic of deserts, okay, it is dry, lack of vegetation means it lack of plants. Okay, it hard for the plants to grow in the desert, and actually desert is not always hot. Okay, there is a desert that can be extremely cold. Okay. Like the hot desert, cold deserts have little vegetation and also a little water. Precipitation is low, and in cold deserts it generally falls as snow. And the lack of water, because these areas can have an abundance of ice, and ice is a solid, right? And the problem is when the water is solid, it's hard for the plants and the animals to survive because plants and animals need water in its liquid state. And in icy climates, as an extremely hot climates, plants and animals must develop strategies for conserving every drop of water. That is why here it is very crucial for them to have or to have water. Okay, now we'll see the world map of hot and cold desert. So where does this hot and cold desert situated in our world? Okay, here is the world's desert. You can see here the Great Basin, which is in the US, Mojave, Sonora, and Chihuahua. So Great Basin is actually hot to cold desert. Mojave, Sonora, and Chihuahua is the hot desert. And then we can see the Sahara, Arabian, the Namib, Kalahari, Great Sandy, Gibson, Tanami, Simpson. The orange color means it hot deserts, and the purple color means it is cold desert. Okay, the Gobi, Iranian. In Russia actually have a steppes. So steppes is also called desert. Okay, we move to this next slide. Okay, this is the name of the country that have hot desert and cold desert. Okay, the animals living in hot and cold deserts have two features. They need to, both groups must adapt to survive in extreme temperature, and both groups must survive with very little water because of the scarce of water in this area. Okay, first we'll look what are the strategies of the animals used to survive winter in cold desert. Okay, as you know, cold desert only have icy and ice, very cold and very less vegetation. So we'll see how this animal going to survive in this cold desert. Okay. Next. Okay, firstly, this animal will migrate to warmer areas in winter. So what does it mean by migrating? Okay. For example, Birds migrate from cold deserts to warmer area. Okay, this area is in order for them to get more food and they have to be warm and hot. Okay, because if it is very cold, they will die, and lack of food also will make them die. And also herds of hoof animals such as deer. So hoof animals, they will go somewhere warmer, and when summer come, they will come back to this place and they will eat any food that have grown in the area. Okay, next is hibernating. Do you know what is hibernating? I'm sure you have heard about this before, right? Okay. Hibernating is actually when the animals lying asleep and inactive during the winter, because the winter is very cold, so they just falls asleep until the summer come. Why they do this? Why they fall asleep? Okay, actually, when the animals hibernation, it will slow down the metabolisms of the body. This will allow it to conserve the energy and live off stored the fat. If the animal remain awake in winter, it will have to keep itself warm, and keeping warm requires a large amount of energy. So that is why most of the animals prefer to lying asleep during the winter and be active during the summer. Okay. Thirdly, the animals will try to insulating themselves with fat and fur. Okay, for examples, bears eat as much as they can to build up a fat layer that will supply energy and keep them warm during winter. So before the winter comes, bear will go and hunt and eat and eat and eat until they are full, and when the winter comes, they just go into their cave and snuggling and just falls asleep until the winter have gone. Alright. For snowshoe hare, this rabbit, they grow winter coat. Okay, the first layer of the winter coat, which is the hair of the hair of this rabbit, okay, they keep it dry from the icy cold or watery snow, and the inner layer will keep them warm with fat. Okay, so snowshoe hare use winter coat to keep them warm during winter. There are some other adaptations by using the seasonal coat color, SCC. This SCC species will change their fur color in order for them to survive in cold weather and summer weather. Okay, for example, the birds called rock ptarmigan and the mountain hare, the stoat and the Arctic fox. They will change their color according to the weather. Next one is huddling together. So, which animal do you think that use this kind of strategy? They huddle together, they will form a group with so many of the same species. They will huddle, they will hug together. Which is the animal that you think? Yes, you're correct. Okay, penguin birds will huddle together in flocks. So in the winter, you may see this picture of penguins, thousands and thousands of penguins huddling together in flocks. So they keep themselves warm. They're keeping their company warm. They're keeping their families warm. Okay, so the penguin in the middle get the most insulating because of all of the penguins surrounding them, and keeping them warm. Okay, this is one of the strategies of how they keep themselves warm. Okay, the last one is by producing chemicals that prevent their blood from freezing. So, have you ever wondered if the animals swim in the icy cold water, or how the animals survive in very cold water? So actually, there is a chemical produced in their blood that antifreeze. Okay, so it helps them, their body or their blood, to keep flow in their body. So for example, many species of Antarctic fish have antifreeze in their blood. So this is the chemical that produced in their body and regulates their blood regularly. So this is how Allah creates His creations with so many types of survival skills, and we learn all of this, and some of it we can adapt to ourselves. Okay, for example, if people wants to live in the cold area, so we need to wear a very heavy coat, or no, I mean a furry coat. Okay, because we learn that animals use this feather or this fur to keep them warm. Okay. Caribou adapted by concentrating their urine to avoid wasting water. So because they hard to get liquid water during the winter, because all of the water going icy, so they need to preserve their water in the body and try to avoid accessing of excreting urine. Okay, urine is water, so they don't want to lose more water. That's why they're concentrating the urine. Okay, that's all for today. For the assignment, I want you to pick one animals from the cold desert. There are so many kinds of cold deserts animals that you can pick. The polar bear, the penguins, or if you want to pick the whales. Okay, and please explain how they survive in this extreme cold. Okay. Okay. Thank you. If you have any question, we will meet at the discussion session after this. Bye. Assalamualaikum.